Now, ain't that a kick in the fanny? Democratic Congressman Alan Grayson siding with a beleaguered lender in a case that he wants to take all the way to the Florida Supreme Court. Grayson is trying to stop bank foreclosures he says are being pushed on customers because the banks want them off their books, even if that risks of pushing folks right out of their homes. Besides, Grayson says the banks don't own the mortgages, Fannie Mae does. Lizzie McDonald's been following all of this, and Lizzie, something wicked this way comes, I guess.
I hope something wicked this way doesn't come to the people who are being pushed out of their homes. They don't need Alan Grayson in on this fight. And here's what's going on. Alan Grayson is essentially saying that there's these law firms that are acting like foreclosure mills down there in Florida.
Does he have a lot of foreclosures in his district?
Yeah, Florida is one of the highest foreclosure states in the country. And so we already have the state attorney general of Florida on the stick trying to stop these potentially fraudulent foreclosures. So what does Alan Grayson do? He's up for re-election, and he sends a letter to the Chief Justice of the state Supreme Court saying, look, you got to stop foreclosures that are being worked on by these 4 law firms, even though the state attorney general is already on the stick. And he's saying things in his letter.
But the state attorney general is a Republican.
Yeah, so, yeah, and he's, what Alan Grayson, though, is sort of like the tin can on the just married car. He's always, like, clattering right behind, I'm going to hitch my wagon to this one.
Now, that's a little mean, but it's a very graphic image.
Well, he's having a tough re-election fight down there. So, do we need Alan Grayson in here when Florida already is what's called a judicial foreclosure review state? You have to basically, a bank has to say, to prove to a court that they own a mortgage before they can start a foreclosure.
But what is this new religion with him? I mean, this has been going on a while, and now Fannie, they may say, perpetrated this whole nonsense. He wants to pass the banks, go back to Fannie. Fannie will protect you.
Yeah, that's right. And what's going on here is that these loans were sliced and diced in securitizations, and it's very difficult to prove who owns these mortgages because they've been sliced up. And we do have instances, for example, GMAC stopping evictions in 23 states because they have one of their loan guys basically rubber stamping these foreclosures without proving who owned the mortgage.
Well, where do you think this ends up?
Where this ends up is essentially, will it stall out the housing recovery because you can't do foreclosures in this country? And look, people should not be evicted from their homes wrongfully. We're not saying that here at Fox Business. The court is moving ahead. Courts are moving ahead.
But is there any way to get them out of their homes rightfully, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a statute of limitations and you're kicked out.
Yeah, that's right. And 23 states are working on that, and it's happening right now. The courts are figuring it out. They don't need a politician like Alan Grayson, throwing his 2 cents into the mix and demanding things of the court system when the courts are already trying to work it out down there in Florida. In his letter, he's saying things like, this presents the largest property seizure ever by a bank or a government. Well, Fannie and Freddie were the largest private property seizure by the government. And, he doesn't note that in his letter. Never mind that.
Did you catch any misspellings?
No, I didn't catch it. I don't want to
grammar in the letter.
I don't want to sound like an annoying.
Paragraph not indented.
No, because then I would start annoying myself, and I do that on a regular basis. So I don't need to do that anymore. But you know what? I mean, we don't need elected officials, stepping into a process that's already well underway.
This is what makes you wicked good and wicked smart.
Thank you.
And Congressman Grayson, you've got a wicked pest in your back mirror. Take a look. Wicked, thank you very, very much.
Sure, anytime.
Brilliant.